Well, what I'm really excited about, to be honest, James, is what's taking place currently in our industry with the advent of COVID-19. So we're just about a year into the pandemic. And as a marketer, I think what I'm most excited about, which was brought about by what lifestyle shifts had to occur because of the pandemic, lockdown, quarantine, what have you, is just re-engagement about just how important your brand is.
Mm.
Because marketers, for many years, probably from the beginning of time, there was always this struggle about what's the value that marketing brings. And while we recognize and acknowledge as marketers that contribution to the bottom line, to profit, marketing, that's what we're all about. We're here to make the company make money. But that debate between what we call performance marketing versus brand marketing has become more hotly contested over the last few years. And to the detriment probably of brand marketing, because it was always kind of difficult, I guess, to always prove the value that brand marketing would have brought to the table and how exactly it contributed to the bottom line. But with the pandemic, what we've realized is that brand is what people tended to turn to. So again, in the age of lockdown and quarantine and all the financial challenges that everybody was facing, the word empathy has come up so often. And empathy was brought out in, well, what are the brands that are exhibiting that empathy? What are the brands that I can trust? What are the brands that I can do business with and know that they're not going to take me for a ride? And so those who really weren't in the brand game felt it. And for those who could have taken advantage of the opportunity to really double down on their brand is what I believe was the big win for those companies who were able to do that. And for me, that's exciting. And that's what I'm looking forward to building even more on throughout 2021.
You brought up a key point, and I want to come back to it. You said brand is what people turn to. And really the antithesis of brand marketing, to your point, is performance marketing. And when you think about the traditional financial brand executive, that's what their expectation is. I do X, I get Y. But brand marketing, you don't necessarily see a direct correlation between X and Y. It might also be like, I do X and then, A, B, C, D has to happen before I see a result at F. How can you have a conversation as a leader, as a marketer with those who might have the expectation of performance marketing? But to your point, I do see the value of brand marketing because people turn to brands that they know, they like, they trust.
Yeah. And the first thing I like to remind folks in our industry is, why is it that people choose a financial institution, a bank, investment company, credit union to do business with? And the main reason is because there has to be trust there. I mean, yeah, you can give a great interest rate on a loan or on a deposit, what have you. But if they don't trust that you're solid, that you know what you're talking about, if they don't trust that when they give you their hard-earned money, they can go back tomorrow and see it, you're dead in the water from the get-go. And so trust is huge. And how do you engender trust is actually through the brand. And that's always my key point to all of our banking executives and financial executives listening, is that if you don't have a brand that folks can lean into and trust, you're going to have a problem. And so it's really brand that drives performance, because if you don't have that brand, people are not going to choose you. They're not going to refer you to their loved ones, because word of mouth is still huge, whether we like it or not. It's really about the brand. So have that as your foundation, and that's a great start to a winning formula to great performance.
I like what you said. Yes, you can have a great interest rate, but if price, for example, is the sole decision maker of a consumer, unfortunately, that is going to be a transactional relationship, one that will probably not last a lifetime. On the other side, we're looking for trust. Consumers are looking for trust, and that trust is delivered through an empathetic, positive brand experience. And let's talk about what you're doing right now at JMMB. This idea of what I call banking on purpose. This has been a really big area of study. It's been a big area of focus. I see this as a tremendous area of opportunity for financial brands to this point that we're talking about, to rise above the commoditized positioning, the commoditized promotion of, hey, we have these great rates and we have some amazing service, but you're doing something deeper with this idea of banking on purpose. Can you dive into that for us?
Oh, with pleasure. Well, just for folks who don't know, at JMMB, we're just under 30 years old, right? We're headquartered in Jamaica in the Caribbean, and we have operations across the Caribbean, primarily in Trinidad and Tobago and in the Dominican Republic as well. And our vision as an organization was about how do we empower the everyday individual to achieve their financial goals. So we would have started at the time as a small boutique money market broker that was set up again to give access to the everyday Jamaican at the time, because we started in Jamaica, to achieve their financial goals, because at the time not everybody could have had access to the money market. But since then we've grown so much from that, and the word love is at the core of who we are. And the reason why is that it's not a brand that we ever sat down in a room, with pen and paper and post-it notes and said, okay, what's the positioning and the purpose of what we do? Love is actually who we are at the very core, because one of our co-founders of blessed memory, Joan Isabel Duncan, unfortunately, she's no longer with us. She passed many years ago. But her vision was not only to empower the average and everyday person to achieve their goals, but she really believed in the equality of all human beings. Every human being is the same, was how she believed it, irrespective of your race, ethnicity, background, what have you. And she believed that every individual had greatness within them. And how do you unleash that greatness? Is through the power of love. Showing love to individuals in a way that allows them to realize the greatness in themselves and to achieve that. And so that's our purpose. It is love. It's through showing love to our clients in terms of how we serve them, how we empower them, how we engage them, love to our team members in a way that allows them to realize the greatness in themselves. And that's who we are. And our tagline, your best interest at heart, sums it all up. Yeah.
So I love this idea of banking on purpose, of really injecting love as a central theme or thesis of your positioning, of your purpose that goes beyond the promotion of rates and the transactional of dollars and cents. I'm looking here even on your website. The JMMB team is clear that the organization is based on unconditional love and mutual respect. I mean, if we even go back to the ancients and think of, what is love? Love is more than an emotion. Love is a choice. Love is to will the good of another person. And when you think about this idea, we have what I would call the traditional banker's brain, which is a very smart brain. It's very logical, it's rational, it deals with numbers and cents. But on the other side, we have the consumer's brain, which is more emotive driven. I can see how this type of positioning, this type of purpose emotionally connects to build trust with people in your communities. How do you reconcile that banker's brain versus the consumer's brain, the analytical versus the emotional?
Yeah, that's a great question. And first of all, I'd like to say that to underscore your point about choice and love being a choice, for us too, our purpose is a choice, in the sense that throughout the years, we've always stuck with that purpose, because we recognize too that it drives business decision making, but it can also impact our bottom line. My CEO will say all the time that because of our purpose, there are certain things as a bank we won't do, as a financial institution we won't do. There are certain fees we won't charge, so we don't and won't charge clients to come into the branch to do a transaction with a teller because they chose not to do it online, because it's your money, and that's what we call a nuisance fee. And we're not going to do that. That's just not who we are, and we don't believe that that's having the client's best interest at heart. But that being said, it means that we're going to have to make decisions around, or maybe our fee income won't be as high as some other institutions. But at the end of the day, we still choose that because that is who we are. And what we realize, James, is that having made that decision, the clients see that, they know that, they feel that. And when you do that, they will come.